what does it take for you? What does it take for you to get to the place? Because we experienced this last week a little bit, right? As a part of the internship program, right? We said, but what does it take for you to get to that place where you're like, okay, it's too much now. I need to let some of it go, or do you not know when it happens, or does it just overwhelm you?
Yeah, I guess you would just say it overwhelms me. Like it's random. Like I'll think about it and then uh I don't ever be like, oh, like I want to cry or whatever. Like it just happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it comes as quickly as it goes.
Yeah, I think when you get to the place of crying, it's saying the emotion is like this guy got to come out. I got to come out, and we can stuff it. I mean, what I see, when I was a vice principal, I would see boys in my office, like tears are falling, and they're like, they're trying to suck the tears back. They're trying to wipe their eyeballs. I'm like, stop wiping your eyeballs. You're gonna get your eye infected. They're like wiping their eyeball, like to make the tears stop. They're trying to make their eye hurt because pain is tough, right? To be able to withstand the pain of like putting my finger on my eyeball is like tough. But to let myself feel what I'm feeling is not considered tough in a lot of our communities. And so I've seen that happen. And I think that with you, because when I'm seeing you and we're talking, I can tell when there's more going on. But when on the phone, sometimes I can't always hear the nuance of like the hesitations or whatever. And I think that when when I knew something was going on and I reached out and I was like, when your grandmother went to the hospital, I was like, why why didn't you come? Why didn't you call me and say something? Why didn't you say something? Welcome to Taking Off the Mask. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really thankful that you've joined us today. Today's conversation is going to be with a young man who I've known since he was in 6th grade. He just graduated high school in a year where everything that he planned in September did not realize itself in June, except for being accepted to college. There was no prom, no graduation, there was no senior picnic, there was no senior cut day, there was no senior grad night. There was just get on your computer, do your work, make sure you get your credits so you can graduate. And this summer we had an internship program and he joined it. It was a social emotional leadership program. And the young man we're going to hear from, his name is Clive. I speak about him a lot in my conferences when I talk about the introduction to this work, because Clive has been through a lot. You're going to hear part of his story, but the part that I'll share with you is I've known him since the 6th grade. His mom passed away at the end of his 8th grade year. She loved him. He loved her. He was raised by a single mother. He and I identify with that very deeply. And after that happened, I reached out to him. I kept reaching out. His grandma was like, he just doesn't talk. And I just kept the door open. And he finally came back around. It took him almost a year. And he came with us on a college tour to Southern California. And at Claremont College, with a men's program there, college men and these high school young men came in a room and took off their mask. It was beautiful. Him and his brother, who had not really expressed the emotion of the loss of their mother, they came into the middle of the circle, and all the men, 40 plus men, came around them and surrounded them and held them and let them know that you are not alone. I know that you think that no one cares or that no one can hold space for you, but we got you. And so today you're going to hear a conversation of evolution of our relationship, our connection, and a brotherhood that is growing. I'm very proud of him. And I hope that after you hear this, you will feel a little deeper connected to him and maybe to other young men in your life. Welcome to Taking Off the Mask. I hope you enjoy. So thank you for being a part of this conversation, Clive. I'm really excited to have you. This is, like I said, this is my first official interview where I'm actually going through the process with someone. And with this podcast that we tried to launch over the period of the internship,
I realize that this podcast is a lot more, is very important to me, and you know, it's not when you have your life work, you don't want to be like, hey, teenagers, here, go make my life work. And I realized that talking to a buddy last night that I need to take more control over it, even though I'm busier than ever, and it's really exciting. So I'm glad to get to have this conversation with you. It's amazing that we're having this talk. We probably should have this talk a long time ago, but this talk is more official now because of the podcast. And so, welcome to Taking Off the Mask. How are you this
Thank you.
morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. So why don't we? The way we're gonna be igniting the podcast, I think the way we'll open up the session is we'll just have our guests to just introduce themselves, like who are you, where are you from, um, maybe, and just start off with just like what's going on in your world right now, like what's happening, like if you just like, because there's probably lots of things going on, as you know, that you can talk about, but just give the listeners a overview of who you are, um, and maybe I can tell them at least in the beginning. So Clive and I met when he was in, I think, the 6th grade or 7th grade. He was in middle school. I was a vice principal at his middle school, and I started Ever Forward there with some young men, some boys there, and he was a part of our circle after school, and so had the great opportunity of working with him until I left there in 2015, and have watched him grow has been really great, and so we stayed in touch, and we the story will probably come up. We lost touch for a little while. There was some resistance in there for a minute, but we were back. And we're back connected, and so how about so the reason I invited him, I've always wanted to talk to young men who have been a part of Ever Forward, but also who just have a story that could help others. I think the story of resilience and of growth. And so I want you to hear from him. So Clive, why don't you just tell us about yourself and uh, let the listeners know who you are.
My name is Clive Bryan Jr. I'm 18 years old. I just graduated Skyline High School, class of 2020. Um, I'll be going to CSUN, California State University in Northridge, in the fall, whenever they open up school. Yeah, so like Brent said, I met him in around 6th or 7th grade. Uh, let's see. I guess I'll start with high school. Um, my mom passed after a coma, and we buried her the day before I started high school, and um, a big part of me didn't want to go, but I know that she wouldn't have wanted me to miss my first day of high school, so I went, and now I'm here.
I mean, feel free to go as deep as you're willing to go. I think we're gonna look at these cards a little bit later, but since you and I, some of our guests I won't have any history with them, so whatever they tell us is what they tell us. So whatever you're willing to share would be great.
So yeah, so that was the start of my high school career. I played football for 4 years, bounced around different sports, played track, volleyball, baseball when I was younger, played for like 6 years. Um, and yeah, I was in the Green Academy in high school. So we learned about environmental science and engineering and stuff like that. We went on several field trips. One thing I did like about Skyline Green Academy was more action based than classroom based. So we would go out and go to actual science labs and engineering facilities, and we met with waste management. We had an internship with the city of Oakland called Oaktown Proud. Taught us about illegal dumping, waste management, community outreach, stuff like that, and I feel like it prepared me pretty well for the next chapter of my life. So, but it's interesting because I'm going to college to study kinesiology, not engineering or computer science or environmental science or anything that you would expect from somebody coming out of the Green Academy. So yeah, so that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I just finished high school. I picked up boxing. It's a lot to train every day. I don't have a set routine yet. I don't have a gym. I don't have a trainer. Well, I guess you could say I have a trainer. His name is Paris Alexander. I had a friend named Elijah Torado. I'm not sure if you remember him, but he went to Montero too.
Yeah, the name definitely sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
If you see his face, you'll probably remember him. But that's his uncle, and it was interesting because I was he had called me. He lives in Martinez, and we talk on the phone sometimes. And I was talking to him, and I was telling him about how I was like wanted to start boxing, and he told me about his uncle. And I watched his fight against Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, it was a good fight. He lost, unfortunately, but it was a good fight. And I got his contact info from Elijah, and I texted him. I asked him if it was cool if he gave me some lessons, and we met yesterday actually for the first time. And I took my friend Hezekiah, and he gave me some lessons, some tips. It was good. It was good work, and I've got some homework. but yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. My grandmother's in the hospital, unfortunately. It's been tougher than I thought, but like I'm getting through it. There's people in my life helping me. I guess I don't always accept the help, but they're there. And yeah, so we're just trying to deal with that. She should be coming out soon. She's been doing good in her rehabilitation. She's walking and talking more. So hopefully she'll be home soon. I'm not sure why I gotta call to talk to my sister and so she can call the doctors and see what's up today. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Thank you. Sorry to hear about your grandmother. Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened to her?
It was a stroke.
It was a stroke. Does she have a paralysis on side of her body?
Not full paralysis, but just like lessened movement. This is her second stroke. She had one last year, and it affected her speech a little bit. So we're just waiting to see what's gonna happen now after her rehabilitation. They're trying to get her into a facility outside of the hospital. So we're working on that. But I'll know more once I talk to the hospital. I'm gonna talk to them today. But yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I know, I think that's part of where our story took a little turn after your mom passed, and I'm thank you for sharing that part of the story too. I think that's you inspire me because of what I know that you had a really close relationship with your mom, as I do, and I think when after that happened, I tried to reach out to you so many times, and you were like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." You wouldn't say I'm good. It's good. It would just be like one word, syllable answers, almost no response. And I was like, I think I told the story a couple of times in speaking with educators. I said, and I kept reaching out, and he wouldn't respond. He would just, he would answer one word answers, and then one day, he said, "Where are you at?" And I said, I'm right here. Where you at? What do you want to do? And when we had a talk, and I remember that's when you finally started to break out of that shell. And I think that was what year was that college trip? That was 2016, 2017. Yeah. And that one was the one where so in Ever Forward, for those who don't know, Ever Forward is a mentoring program. And if the students who are in our program at any point go off to a different school, my work and our team is trying to stay in connection with them. So they want to stay connected. We want to keep connecting with them. We want to support them. And what happened with Clive was that his high school didn't have a club, but I just try to always reach out to the young men. And he went on a college tour with us. We were at Loyola Marymount College. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You remember the story? Do you remember what happened there?
I do not actually. I had it. So I'm not sure if you know this. You should. I hope you do. But I did. I had a concussion freshman year, 2016, And I really think like I, I kept playing football, obviously, but like I tried to like during the summer I wouldn't hit or anything. We wouldn't wear pads or whatever, but I would like throw up and stuff often, and it was just tough. And it was like all in my head, like it was just all in my head. Like my stomach would hurt and stuff, but like like when you have a concussion, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. And after I thought things were normal. Like it didn't feel like anything had changed or anything because the doctor had said there might be some changes in your maybe uh emotions, like maybe changing my routines or stuff like that. Just anything, that comes with a head injury. And I didn't really notice any changes, but over time I started to notice my memory got affected, and it's pretty bad. So so yeah, I have a pretty bad memory, and I wouldn't say it's getting worse now, but there definitely was a time where I noticed I would forget things like almost right after they were told to me, or if I wasn't completely focused on that thing, like it was almost impossible for me to retain that information. And it made it difficult in school because like I've always been considered a good student, but it was harder to focus in class. It was harder to study, and it definitely set me back. But yeah, so I don't think I could remember, unfortunately.
We went to no, not Loyola Marymount, the Claremont colleges. It was Claremont colleges. The Claremont colleges had like 5 colleges. We had made a partnership with a group on campus, and we had, I think, probably 35 young men, I think it was, that were from all over the Bay Area. And
Was this
that was
the
on.
was this the taco incident trip?
This was absolutely. This was
Okay,
that whole. But that happened. The taco situation happened in Los Angeles. That
mm,
was in Los Angeles. But the Claremont. Well, Claremont is in the Los Angeles area.
it was the private
Um,
colleges, right?
it was
The
a
group
private
of
college.
colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I think I kind of remember the tour guide. Like I remember I was asking him a lot of questions.
Yeah, so we had some African American men who came along to. They have a brotherhood on campus there, and they came to met with us. They got us a room on campus so we could do a workshop, and we did a workshop with the young men and these college men, and we took them through the taking off the mask workshop.
I remember now. My brother was there. My brother
Yeah,
was
he
there,
was.
right? I remember my brother. It was my little brother Ken. He had come on the trip. I remember it was our first trip together, and I remember a little bit now. I think I remember. Um,
Yeah,
Man, that's crazy. I forgot. Completely forgot.
yeah, it's in there, and I think that what happened, what I remember is happening in that trip, because it took a while for us to get you to go. Um, on that trip, I think that because this was your second trip with us, I think you went once the year before, and then this was I think either the next year. It was um, right after your mom had passed, and I think that year I had been trying to reach out to you the whole year. Hey, come on, come on, come on! You should come with us. Come on, can connect with us. Like, come to some event. Come. And finally, the trip came, and you decided to come, you and your brother. And in that circle with men, college men, we take people through an experience, and we actually you participated in it right now. As we we have these cards, which is what we do around the world. We ask people to think of a mask, an image they would draw if they were drawing a mask. And then we ask them to write 3 words on the front of the mask that are things that they gladly let people see, the front of the mask, right? And then we ask them the back of the mask are things that they normally don't let people see. And so what we normally do is in that when we do a workshop, we take the cards and we pass them around, or we do something where the cards get mixed up, and then what
The
men
snowball fight.
do, yeah, they have a snowball fight. That was the early version of it. That was before the cards came out. And then we say, well, look, here are these words you've written on your card, the front and the back of the mask. How about you read now somebody else's card? So now you usually have somebody else's card in your hand, and you're like, whoa. You could be in a lot of places based on what you read, but you get to see the words from somebody else in the room, and it usually opens up the space. And so in that space, after people do that, we go through a deeper process. So have you made a mask? Have you made a mask
Mhm.
lately? You did? Okay, so I have one here that I'm creating. So how about the way we've done it on this experience is for the words you feel comfortable sharing, we're gonna share the mask. So let's say the front of the mask. These are the qualities that you gladly let people see. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay. So on the front of the mask, the things that I normally let people see is that I'm funny, I'm hardworking. Or I think I'm funny. I try and be funny. I'm hardworking, and I'm really serious. Those are the things that I really try and let people see. And what about
So,
you? What's on the front of the mask?
so in the front of my mask, I got athletic, funny. I think I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious. I think very hilarious actually. But and the last one is intelligence.
Mm, thank you. Um, and that's what we gladly let people see. Those are qualities that we hopefully people already recognize, and then we do our best to let people see. And then we think about the other side of the mask, which are things we normally don't let people see. That's the harder part. And so, you've been a part of this workshop before, so this is not your first time. But maybe we'll talk about the back, and I'll just read mine, and then we'll just see where it goes next. So I think about my mask and I think about what things come up for me. The back of the mask, the things I normally don't let people see is that I have a big fear of failure, that I carry a lot of sadness, definitely sadness around death. Like when people die, I try and disconnect and disassociate. I get really sad. And uh, so I oftentimes don't, I just like let it come in. I heard about it. I feel bad. I write a card. I'm trying to be empathetic and for the family. And then I'm like, because I just don't want to think about it too much. And then I think the last one is I'll just say childhood trauma that that I haven't dealt with much, that I don't talk about almost ever, that are still a big part of me. So those are the things I don't normally talk about.
Thank you.
And what about you? Yeah, thank you, man.
Um, so the first it's like two words in one, but fear slash uncertainty. Like when you just said like your fear of failure, like I feel that like playing football, I wasn't always like I became a starter, but I wasn't always a starter. Like I used to be in the background, I used to get overlooked, and it was really frustrating. And it's like it's hard to like to keep doing something that you're not getting the results that you want, and you don't know why. Um, and I think it was especially difficult for me because I had just lost my mom, and it just kind of felt like I was worthless, like why did like he didn't want me to play because I was garbage or I was trash. So it is what it is. But luckily I had a coach who believed in me and gave me a chance. My next word is anger. Like I guess I get angry with my best friend. Like he just pushed my buttons different. But I try to not show that I'm angry or just if I am, like just get rid of it. Partly because like I guess, like everybody is made by the experiences that shape you. So I guess I'm just like a secretive person with my emotions. I just feel like um people will take advantage of you and or try to use you or just that they don't even care. So there's no point in bearing myself like that. And the last one is sadness. At first I put pain, but I just switched it to sadness because like I'm no stranger to pain. Like I play football, I box. Like pain is up here. Like it's literally up here. Like pain is it's like your brain letting that your body like got hurt or something, or like you're feeling some type of way. But like sadness, like I feel like that's an emotion. Like pain is a feeling, sadness is an emotion. Like with my emotions is different. Like I feel like I'm weak emotionally. Like my main, like the main way I get to things is like just put a wall up, like block it out. And I feel like some people want me to like express that more, and it's not that I don't know how to, because like I've known you for hella long. Like I don't know how I wouldn't be able to deal with my emotions. I don't know how anybody would be able to not know how to deal with emotions after knowing you as long as I have. I feel like for someone to see that out of me, like
Yeah.
like I gave them something, or like you have to earn it. I don't know. Like even I barely cry, and like even when I do, and I this year I've my resolution was to try and like get a better touch with my emotions and try to understand my emotions better. And I've cried like more often, but I still notice that I have like this tendency like to just stop. Like even though like I'll like be thinking about it and like trying to like just feel it like I just stop.
So what does it take for you? What does it take for you to get to the place? Because we experienced this last week a little bit, right? As a part of the internship program, right? We said, but what does it take for you to get to that place where you're like, okay, it's too much now. I need to let some of it go, or do you not know when it happens, or does it just overwhelm you?
Yeah, I guess you would just say it overwhelms me. Like it's random. Like I'll think about it and then uh I don't ever be like, oh, like I want to cry or whatever. Like it just happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it comes as quickly as it goes.
Yeah, I think when you get to the place of crying, it's saying the emotion is like I got to come out. I got to come out, and we can stuff it. I mean, what I see, when I was a vice principal, I would see boys in my office like tears are falling, and they're like, they're trying to suck the tears back. They're trying to wipe their eyeballs. I'm like, stop wiping your eyeballs. You're gonna get your eye infected. They're like wiping their eyeball like to make the tears stop. They're like trying to make their eye hurt because pain is tough, right? To be able to withstand the pain of like putting my finger on my eyeball is like tough. But to let myself feel what I'm feeling is not considered tough in a lot of our communities. And so I've seen that happen. And I think that with you, because when I'm seeing you and we're talking, I can tell when there's more going on. But when on the phone, sometimes I can't always hear the nuance of like the hesitations or whatever. And I think that when I knew something was going on and I reached out and I was like, when your grandmother went to the hospital, I was like, why didn't you come? Why didn't you call me? And same thing, why didn't you say something? Do you know why you didn't call me? Why you didn't tell me? Why? I had figured it out by you not showing up one day, didn't call in. Then I was like, what's going on with him? I said, hey, where's your teammate? They didn't even know where you were. Do you know why you didn't just come and say, Branch, my grandma's in the hospital? Why I had to pull it out of you?
Um I'm not sure like what when I got back from the hospital that night, um like I didn't know who to talk to. Like I felt like I might have wanted to talk to somebody, but I didn't really know who I wanted to talk to. And I just ended up going to sleep. Like I was crying and stuff, and then I just went to sleep. Um, I guess I just decided I'll get through it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And how old are you?
18.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do in this work with the mask is like, how do we make sure we have a place that we help young people, young men like yourself, to not have to wait till you're 30 and then you say, oh my goodness, I should have dealt with all this stuff when I was younger. And now you're having to go to therapy and all of that. Not that anything's wrong with therapy when you're older, but why don't we learn it when we're 18 that I just need somebody to talk to regularly, to let some of this stuff out, because life is going to keep throwing stuff at us. Life is not going to be like, oh, you're 21 now. I mean, they make it smooth for you now. It's going to keep throwing stuff at us, and how our ability to handle it and navigate it and deal with it. Kind of like on a football field, you got a hole right there. You got to get to the hole and it gets clogged up. You're like, what the heck? And then you go to that little hole right there, and it gets clogged up. You're like, and then if you're not well emotionally, you'll be like, I'm so mad, and then you get hit from the side. You didn't even know it was coming because you stop looking for the openings. You get worn out. and it's a metaphor. I don't know, I'm using a football metaphor with you, but the idea that when life hits us, sometimes somebody's not going to come and say, hey, I got you. Come over here. There's a space over here. Sometimes people won't notice. And luckily you have people in your circle who can notice it. But imagine all the young men out there who've never had anybody ever ask them how they really feel. Never had anybody say, hey, I noticed something's going on with you. There's some people who are really good at masking it. So no one ever asked them how they're really doing because they always pretend like they're doing fine. And I think that to have somebody who can really see you, I think is valuable. And I'm glad I have like a couple of people like that in my life to like, I default towards, I'll do it myself. That's my default. And I think that's why I identify with you a lot, because I don't like asking for help either. I don't like bothering people. People got their own stuff to do. But I know that, man, there's so many people who are smarter than me who can just listen to me, and they don't even fix my problem. No one can fix. So many people can just hold space for me to let some of this steam out, so I can go back to my day. I can go back to life, because life will continue to throw stuff at you if you don't navigate it well. So thank you for sharing that. As we're getting ready to close, is there another word on your card, or was that it? That was the last one.
That was the last one.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think, one of the things that we're trying to do with this podcast, and as I'm going to be interviewing not only young men your age, but men older, and maybe even women will eventually be interviewed. I don't know. We're still in the early stages. I want people to have a space. How was that experience with you? Now, you and I talk all the time, and I ask you hard questions all the time. So I didn't have to ask you a hard question. You kind of know that I was going to go there, so you kind of went there yourself. But how was this experience of making the mask again after, I don't know when the last time you made a mask before today, and talking about it and sharing it? How did that feel for you?
Well, I actually made the mask yesterday because
Okay.
we had thought the podcast was gonna happen yesterday, but it got pushed back today. But it was, as I was drawing my mask, like I took my time with it. I was like I found what I wanted to draw, and I drew it, and it didn't come out the way I wanted to, but it came out, and like I just didn't, I don't know, like I guess when I first wrote the words down, like it was just like simple, like the first words that came to mind. But when now as we sat down and I talked about the words and like what they meant to me and like why I put them, like it just like it felt good to talk about it. I feel like there were some, like there are points like where I feel like the emotions welling up, and I'm just like, okay, I feel it, push it down, like that should like just like I guess I think that I'm good at hiding my emotions, but clearly people who know me and my friend Hezekiah, my brother Hezekiah, the other day, like he's been helping me work on my this house I'm trying to get ready to rent in Hayward, and he's been helping me, and like we've been with each other almost every day, and he was saying like he noticed how how guarded I am with my emotions, how I seem so nonchalant all the time, I guess, like, and not like literally, like, I joke around and stuff when I'm with my friends, and just like when you're just you're just living life, like just I'm just there, but like when we like my other friend, my best friend Paris, he had got mad at me, and like to me the situation wasn't even that deep. Like I know what I said, like it was like for me it's just like it is what it is, right? But there's all these underlying emotions that are like affecting everybody, and I guess part of I guess it's just like how I protect myself, because I can't it just, I don't know, like I can't just sit there and like hit Paris' little sister, she's very emotional, and she was saying like sometimes she just cries, and she doesn't even want to cry, but she just like so filled with these emotions, and she just cries. And I was like, and it was interesting because like I felt that, like for me, I feel those emotions, but they just get pushed down, and I push them down. I push them down, and like sometimes like it's not even like I want to. It's just like it's just what I know to do, and it's hard when you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, because like I know that there are people who I can talk to, but it's just I guess I'm just not comfortable talking about it yet, and I guess I am talking about it now, but it's just it's just a learning process, I guess. But yeah, that's what I noticed during the interview.
Thank you. And what do you want to just leave the guests with? Like, what do you think that as we do this in the future, as we probably interview people that you're going to nominate to be interviewed or to be a part of this conversation, who you may know, who
I already
don't?
have somebody who I want you to interview, and
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna be upset that I didn't introduce you to him sooner. but yeah.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe he'll be our next interview. Maybe. Thank you for that. And what like what with that same question, like, what do you think that we should make sure we do? Like, I think you and I have a long history, so this is kind of like us having another conversation, right? This is for some people when I have these conversations, they can be like, "Oh my God, he's asking me about my personal stuff," right? You and I have been doing this for a lot of years, so what do you think that we should make sure we do for other people, young people, older people in this space? Like, was that enough? Like what we did? All we did was you introduce yourself, and then we talked about the cards. I mean, we didn't do a whole lot. It was really really simple, but I hope that is impactful. I don't want it to be complicated. I want it to be a conversation between two people who can just say, "Man, I got to talk to somebody about some real stuff today," and
Mm-hmm.
if nothing else, that is the truth.
Definitely, just because of our history, I was prepared for the conversation. Like I knew what. Well, I didn't really, like I said earlier, like I didn't really understand what was exactly expected of me. But like I said, like you're all about taking off the mask and getting in touch with your emotions. And like I said earlier, like anybody who's known you for as long as I have, and not being able to, or knowing how to like talk about their emotions, would be very difficult to do. So I guess it was just easier for me because I already like, not that I knew exactly, but like I had this inkling of what was expected of me. Or not that it was expected of me, but what you were allowed, like what you were giving me the space to talk about. And I think a good thing to do would be, like prepare them, let them know like it's a podcast, it's an interview, and like I want to get into those deeper emotions. Like this can be, doesn't have to be, but it can be a space for you to really dig deep into these emotions, or anything that they might want to talk about, or whatever you guys end up talking about. But that if they feel like, because I know that you saying this is your life's work, this is important to you, and I know at the same time, like even though this is about like having the other person, giving them a comfortable space to talk about emotions, but like you don't want to waste your time either. So if you feel like they won't be able to give you not that it has to be meaningful, but like if they don't feel like, if you or they both don't feel like this experience was useful or helpful in any way, then like if they just like if they don't feel like they'll be able to talk, I'm not saying that you want to tell them to have to, but just that it is kind of expected, and that you should be prepared, or just don't. don't do it, because I know you don't want to waste your time. And I feel like sometimes you say one thing and it can be very clear, but some people might not really understand the underlying emotional aspects of what you're trying to get at with the mask. And I've seen that with a lot of people who make masks, like they just take 2 seconds to do it. And that's what I did. I just, wrote down the first things that came to mind yesterday when I made the mask. And I mean, I took my time drawing it, but and then today, like, I really digged a little bit into why those were the first words that come to mind, and what they meant to me or for me. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. Please take a picture of your card and send it to us so that when we put the episode together, we can include it in there. And I just want to let you know I'm very proud of you. Like, I think you are an incredibly strong young man. I think as me being a certified mama's boy, I know how that challenge was for you, and I just felt for you. I felt for you, and I'm a big fan of you, and I'm glad to be on this journey to watch you grow. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey with you. And so I know you're going through a lot right now, and I know that you default to like, I'll figure it out by myself. And when you're ever in that moment where you're like, I want to talk to somebody, I don't know who to talk to, my number is always working. Whatever time you need to call, it doesn't hesitate. And I know that, and just know that if you don't, when I notice it, I'm gonna ask. So just keep yourself prepared for that. I don't think you already know that. I'm just saying it out loud so everyone knows that if I notice it and you haven't said anything to me, I'm gonna ask. And I always respect your space. If you don't want to talk about it, I'm like, okay. But I'm always want to give you that space to do that. So thank you, brother. Thank you for being on this podcast, taking off the mask. We look forward to learning more about your journey as you are on the next journey towards college. And please come back anytime. And any young man that you believe that could benefit from this kind of conversation, short conversation, but just really a really heartfelt conversation, please introduce them to us, and we love to interview them too.
Thank you. I appreciate
All
it.
right, brother. Take care of
All
yourself.
right.
Have a great day.
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you.
right, have a good weekend. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.